Here are the questions the police are going to ask you if you're pulled over to try to trick you into admitting something that could be used against you. Number 1, do you know why I stopped you? That question is obviously a trick, because if you admit that you know why you were stopped, then it's evidence of your consciousness of your guilt. You're making an admission. Oh, you stopped me because I was speeding. You stopped me because I was on my phone. Something like that. And answering that question with an I don't know is also something that could be used against you, because it could suggest that you don't have a good memory, you weren't aware of the situation. So that's one of those questions that if the police ask you, you should always remain silent. Number 2, do you know how fast you were going? Again, this is a question that is designed to try and trick you into making an admission. Do I know how fast I was going? No, officer, I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Then you're saying, I don't know my speed. And if you go to court and you try and testify and say, no, I'm certain I was going 49 kilometers an hour in that 50 kilometer an hour zone, the officer is going to say, well, you said at the roadside that you didn't know, and I think you're lying. And that statement can be used against you because it is admissible for the truth of its contents, depending on if it's proven voluntary and a number of other criteria are met. But it's a statement that can be used against you. And obviously, if you admit that you were speeding, that's again evidence of your guilt that can be used against you. Number 3, have you had anything to drink today? This is also a question that is designed to trick you. People think that if they answer this question and say, oh, I haven't had anything today, that they won't be detected for impaired driving, or if they say, yes, but it was 2 or 3 hours ago, if they distance themselves from their drinking, that it's not going to allow them to be investigated for impaired driving. But not only does answering that question give the officer the opportunity to smell your breath and make observations about how you respond to the question, your speed of speech, your manner of speech, how long it takes you to respond, all of those things are going to be used for the officer to try and conclude that you're impaired, but also any admission you make is still something that could be used against you in a credibility analysis. Lying to the police in response to that question is the worst thing you can do. Admitting drinking is the second worst thing you can do. Remaining silent is the best thing that you can do. Those are the 3 biggest questions that police are going to ask you in a traffic stop situation to try and trick you into providing information that could later be used against you. So be sure, if you're asked any of those questions, to just remain silent.